the center of the Galactic High Court, a large silver room floated above a quiet star. Hundreds of alien leaders sat in silence, their eyes locked on one man. He was not like them. He had no fur, no scales, no extra arms. He was a human. Tall, calm, dressed in a gray prisoner suit, and chained from neck to foot. His name was Commander Rex Carter, and in the eyes of the galaxy, he was the most dangerous man alive. Whispers moved across the courtroom like wind. Some aliens looked at him with hate, others with fear. The screen behind the judges showed burning planets, broken ships, and millions of dead bodies. The voice of the prosecutor echoed loudly. He is responsible for 5 destroyed planets, 12 billion lives lost, species pushed to the edge of extinction. He started a war that nearly ended the Alliance. A large blue alien judge slammed her staff on the floor. Rex Carter of Earth, you are charged with galactic war crimes. Do you have anything to say before we begin your punishment? Carter lifted his head slowly. His eyes were tired but steady. He didn't shout. He didn't cry. His voice was calm, low, and firm. I only ask for one thing. Let me speak. Let me show you the truth. Just one presentation, that's all I need. Laughter filled the courtroom. A green insect-like senator waved one of his arms. What truth can change this? We have seen the damage. We saw your ships fire first. But the judge raised her hand. Enough. We will give him 5 minutes. Begin your presentation. A small device was placed in front of Rex. With a touch, a hologram appeared in the center of the court. The screen flickered, then lit up with a title. It started with a broken signal. The room grew quiet. Carter spoke, his voice clear and
slow. This is not a story about war. This is a story about fear, about mistakes.
About how everything went wrong, because we didn't understand each other. The first image was a video clip, Earth's first contact with an alien ship. The video was old, shaky. An alien ship hovered near a satellite. A message was sent. The human translation showed the words, "Prepare for death." Gasps filled the courtroom. A few aliens shouted in shock. But that was wrong, Carter said quickly. The real message was, "Prepare for deep conversation." The translator mixed up 2 words. Conversation and destruction were only 1 code apart. A scientist alien stood from the jury. That is possible. Language errors happen. Carter nodded. Earth thought we were under attack, so we sent soldiers. And when our ships landed, you thought we were attacking, so you fired back. He showed more video. Earth ships landing, confused humans waving flags. Then explosions, screams, fire. We thought it was war. You thought it was war. But it was just fear and panic. The judge looked uneasy now. Still, the destruction of 5 planets. Carter looked down. It wasn't supposed to happen. I tried to stop it. I sent messages to Earth, told them to hold back. But my orders were ignored. Someone on Earth wanted war. The courtroom buzzed again. The screen changed to show secret messages sent to Earth leaders. Some were marked as ignored, others were deleted. I was not in control. I begged for peace. A young alien on the jury looked confused. Why didn't you leave? Why did you keep fighting? I stayed. Because if I left, Carter said, things would have gotten worse. I tried to protect civilians. I tried to stop the bombs. I tried to save lives. The next clip showed Carter in a ruined city, pulling an injured alien child from rubble. Then another, showing him ordering his own troops to stand down. This was not war to me. This was survival. This was damage control. An old alien with gray skin and glowing eyes looked closely at him. Do you have proof that someone wanted this war? Not yet, Carter said. But I have clues. And if you let me finish, I will show you everything. The blue judge tapped her staff again. 5 minutes are over. A long silence followed. One of the alien leaders, A tall being with golden wings stood up. "Let him continue. I have seen many liars. He is not lying. His voice is the voice of someone who has lost too much." The judge looked at the jury. Slowly, one by one, the aliens nodded. She turned to Carter. "Very well. We will allow you more time. But remember, if this is a trick, your punishment will be worse than death." Carter gave a slow nod. "I understand, and I promise. The truth is worse than any lie you've heard." As the lights dimmed again and the screen changed to the next slide, the room leaned in. The most hated human in the galaxy was not done yet, and what he was about to reveal would shake the stars. The courtroom was dark now, lit only by the soft glow of the hologram screen. Every eye was on Rex Carter. The silence was heavy. Even the loudest aliens, those who had shouted for his death, now waited to hear more. The judge gave a short nod. "Continue, human. Show us what happened next." Carter touched the screen again. A new title appeared in the air. "First Contact. The message that started a war." The image changed to show Earth, shining blue, in space. A small alien ship approached slowly. Carter's voice filled the air. This was year 2319. Humanity had just joined the edge of galactic communication. We didn't know who was out there. We were scared, but we were hopeful. The video switched to Earth's space station. Scientists watched a blinking screen, confused and excited. A signal had arrived. Strange sounds, patterns. At first, they thought it was random. Then a scientist screamed, "It's a message!" The message was translated using Earth's best, computers. The result, prepare for death. On the screen, military leaders panicked. Earth's defense system moved into high alert. "They're coming to destroy us," someone shouted. Carter paused the video. His voice stayed calm. The truth? The message was peaceful, but our translator failed. It mixed two words, dialogue and death. We thought it was a warning of war, but it was just a welcome. A murmur moved through the courtroom. One alien scientist whispered to another, "We've had that problem before. Our languages are too complex." Carter nodded. "We didn't know that. We had never spoken to aliens before. We thought we were going to be invaded. So Earth did what Earth always does. It prepared to fight. The screen showed Earth's fleet of ships launching into space. Soldiers were sent, weapons charged. Carter appeared in uniform, younger, standing in front of a large map. "I was told to protect Earth, nothing more. I followed orders. I led a small team to find out where the signal came from." A new video played. Carter's ship landing on a strange planet. Green skies, tall red trees, peaceful animals moving through the grass. It looked calm. "We thought this planet was preparing to attack us," he said. "We didn't know this was a science colony, full of peaceful explorers." The video showed Carter's soldiers stepping out, waving white flags. But aliens on the planet, fearful of the large ships and armor, saw it as a trick. Shots were fired. One human soldier fell. Then chaos, explosions, screaming, fire. Carter stood in the center, shouting, "Hold your fire!" But no one listened. Fear was louder than any command. The image froze on Carter's face, covered in dust and blood. His eyes were wide, shocked. This was the first battle. It should have never happened. No one wanted it. But once the first shot was fired, it was too late. The judge leaned forward. "Why didn't you call for retreat?" "I did," Carter replied. "I sent the message back to Earth. I told them it was a mistake, but Earth didn't believe me. They thought I was being fooled. They thought I had been captured." A clip played of Earth's leaders. A general slammed his hand on the table. "Carter's gone soft. We keep going." Carter's voice grew heavier. "They sent more ships, bigger ones, with orders to take control. And the aliens on the planet? They sent a distress call to the Alliance." The courtroom watched as both sides, full of fear and confusion, prepared for war. This was not about hate. Carter said.
This was about fear. Everyone thought the other side wanted to kill them, and no one stopped to ask why.
One of the alien senators, with silver skin and sharp eyes, stood.
But 5 planets, Carter. 5 entire worlds. Why didn't anyone...
Stop it after the first? Carter looked down. Because after the first, revenge started. Leaders wanted payback. They called it defense, but it was anger. Both sides lost people. Both sides lost control. He pointed at the screen. I tried to speak. I tried to tell the truth. But I was only one man. The war moved faster than words. He paused, then looked around the room. But words still matter. That's why I'm here now. The blue judge watched him in silence. Her eyes held many emotions: anger, sorrow, curiosity. A new clip started. Carter was in a destroyed city, kneeling beside a dying alien. He held the alien's hand and whispered, "I'm sorry." The alien, weak and bleeding, looked at him and said something in its own language. Carter played the translation. "You're not the monster they say you are." The courtroom fell quiet again. Then, the next slide appeared, glowing in the air. Part 3. The Mission That Went Wrong. Carter turned to the judge. "If I can continue, I will show you how I tried to fix it, and how I failed." She didn't answer right away. Then slowly she gave a single nod. "Continue, human. The court will hear your story." And just like that, the galaxy leaned in again, listening to the man they once called a monster. The hologram screen glowed softly as Part 3 appeared in bold white letters: The Mission That Went Wrong. Commander Rex Carter stood still in the middle of the courtroom. His hands were no longer shaking. The aliens watching him were silent. Now, not because they forgave him, but because they wanted to hear what he would say next. "This mission," he began, "was supposed to be simple. In and out. No fire. No killing. Just find out who was sending more signals. I told my team we were not there to fight. I told them we would only defend ourselves if attacked." The screen showed a map of a small alien moon, bright and icy, with a few buildings scattered across the surface. Carter continued, "We believed this moon was a secret enemy base. That's what the reports said. I trusted those reports. That was my first mistake." Footage from Carter's helmet camera began to play. It showed a ship landing gently on the moon's surface. The human team stepped out, weapons lowered. They looked around, confused. There were no enemy ships, no guards, just strange towers collecting energy from the cold winds. "We saw no threat," Carter said. "But still, orders told us to search and secure the area, so we entered the buildings." Inside, the video showed rooms filled with machines, research papers, and glowing plants. Then, the camera turned toward a group of frightened aliens, scientists, doctors, even children, hiding behind a door. "My team didn't shoot," Carter said. "We told them we weren't there to hurt them. We gave them food. We waited for someone to talk to us." But just as things seemed peaceful, another message came from Earth Command. Carter brought up the message on screen. The words were cold. "High threat confirmed. Eliminate all structures. Full sweep." "I refused," Carter said quietly. "I told my team to stand down. I contacted Earth and demanded a stop order." He showed a log of his transmission. No reply came back. Minutes later, another squad arrived. Not my team. A different one. New orders. No mercy. The video now showed human ships firing on the base. Explosions lit up the icy moon. The aliens screamed. Carter was seen running toward the fire, yelling, "Stop! There are civilians here!" But it was too late. The screen paused. A long silence filled the room. "I tried to stop them," Carter said again. "I stood in front of one of the energy towers to block the missiles. They fired anyway. It barely missed me." An alien senator from a race with blue crystal skin stood up. "Then why didn't you resign? Why didn't you return to Earth and speak out?" Carter looked up at her. His face showed pain. Because the truth was locked away. The leaders who gave those orders, they erased the records. They called it a clean operation. On Earth, it was reported as a terrorist base. No one believed me. He tapped the screen again, showing a news report from Earth. The reporter said, "A major victory today as human forces destroy a dangerous alien weapons lab. Commander Rex Carter leads the successful mission." The courtroom buzzed. The lies were shocking. Carter spoke louder now. "That was not a weapons lab. That was a research center. They were studying galactic medicine. They had no weapons at all." A quiet alien child stood in the courtroom, holding a translator screen. She was one of the survivors. Her voice came through the device. "He helped me. He covered me when the fire came." Gasps spread across the room. Some jury members looked at Carter differently now. Another alien leader leaned forward. "So, you were not just following orders, you were disobeying them." "I followed the orders that were right," Carter said, "not the ones that would kill the innocent. And I paid for it. My team was removed. I was sent to a dead zone with no command. They tried to silence me." The screen now showed a hidden message from a human admiral to another officer. The message said, "Carter is a risk. Put him somewhere quiet, far away. Let him disappear." "After that," Carter said, "they sent me to the front lines of a war they created. I wasn't leading anymore. I was just surviving." He paused. Then quietly he said, "But even in the middle of war, I saw the truth. I saw who was really making the decisions. And why." The judge raised her hand. "You are saying someone inside Earth's government wanted war?" Carter nodded. "Yes, and not just war, profit, power, control." The courtroom fell still. The next part of the presentation appeared on the screen. Part 4, Betrayal in the Stars. Carter looked around the room. "Now, I will show you the people who truly started this war. Not soldiers, not humans like me, but men who sit in quiet rooms and move planets like pieces on a board." And just like that, the court prepared for the next truth, a truth that might bring down everything they believed. The screen changed again. White words appeared in the air. Part 4, Betrayal in the Stars. Commander Rex Carter stood tall in the center of the courtroom. The light from the hologram shone across his face. His voice was steady now, not angry, not sad, just clear. "There is something I haven't told you yet," he said. "Something I didn't understand until it was too late. The war wasn't just a mistake. It was planned." Shocked whispers filled the room. The judge raised her hand for silence. "You will explain." Carter touched the screen. A new image appeared. A group of humans in black suits sitting around. A large table on Earth. They were not soldiers, not elected leaders. They had no names on record, no faces shown on the news. But Carter had found them. "They call themselves the Quiet Council," he said. "They're not part of any government. They don't care about peace. They care about resources, energy, land, and money." The hologram zoomed in on one of the men. His face was cold, expressionless. His name was hidden behind codes. Carter tapped the screen again. Messages appeared, secret files, full of plans and reports. One of them read, "Create enough fear. Push Earth into defense mode. Begin controlled expansion." Another said, "If war breaks out, blame the aliens. Public support will follow." The courtroom reacted in shock. Some aliens shouted. Others gasped. One leader stood up, trembling. "You mean they used us? Like a trick?" Carter nodded slowly. "Yes. They knew the first alien signal was peaceful, but they changed the translation before it reached Earth Command. They wanted war. War gave them power." The judge's voice was sharp. "Do you have proof these messages are real?" "Yes," Carter said. "These are not just screenshots. These are logs pulled from their own systems. I risked everything to get them. I had help from a spy, someone who paid for the truth with her life. A photo of a woman appeared. She wore a science uniform with the Earth emblem. Her name was Dr. Lila Rowan. She worked inside the system. She believed in peace. She found the real translation files. When she tried to tell people, she was silenced. They called it an accident, but I know it wasn't. The courtroom fell silent again. Carter tapped the screen. A voice recording began to play. It was Lila's voice, soft and hurried. If you're hearing this, they've found me. Rex, the council is hiding everything. They started this war. I've uploaded the files to the relay station near Proxima. Find it. Show the truth. Carter looked around the room. I found that relay. I followed her trail. That's how I'm standing here today, with proof. He pointed at the screen again. Another report opened. Target alien planets rich in raw materials. Frame it as self-defense. An alien senator shouted, "That's what happened to Varnus. Our planet had rare crystal fields. They destroyed our cities, then sent miners." Carter looked at the senator. They weren't protecting Earth. They were building an empire. The judge leaned forward, her face hard. And you were their weapon. I was their tool, Carter said with a heavy voice. But I broke. I saw the truth, and I refused to stay silent. That's why they sent me to the front lines. That's why they blamed me for everything. The screen showed Carter's name listed as the main war criminal. Below it, another file appeared. Let Carter take the fall. His record is public. He's useful as a scapegoat. The room shook with anger. Even the aliens who hated humans, the most were now silent with rage. They were no longer sure who the real enemy was. One alien, small with green skin and 6 eyes, whispered, "All this time, we were fighting a lie." Carter looked up. I didn't come here to ask for forgiveness. I know what I've done. I know I failed to stop many terrible things, but I'm here now to make them answer for it. He pointed at the final line of the report. No one will believe him. The war will hide the truth. The judge stood. Her voice echoed through the court. We believe him now. Every head turned. Even Carter looked surprised. You have shown us the cracks, she continued. But this truth is dangerous. If what you say is correct, then Earth's leadership is compromised. This changes everything. Carter nodded. That's why I need your help. I can't fight them alone. The judge looked around. Slowly, the alien leaders began to nod. Even those who lost people in the war saw what had happened now. The enemy was never one man. It was a system built on lies. The screen changed once more. Part 5. The Mission to Earth. Carter looked straight ahead. It's time to go back, time to face the Council, and show the galaxy what Earth truly stands for. The far court was no longer his enemy. Now they were watching the same direction he was, toward Earth, toward the truth. The court had heard the truth. The lies, the secret messages, the betrayal from Earth's hidden leaders. It had all been shown. Now, the galaxy waited to see what Rex Carter would do next. The screen changed again. Part 5. The Mission to Earth. Carter stood in the center of the courtroom, surrounded by alien leaders who had once wanted him dead. Now they looked at him with something else. Not trust, but maybe respect. I need to go back, Carter said. Back to Earth. The Council must be exposed. They can't hide anymore. If we let them continue, more wars will come. More lies. More death. The judge nodded slowly. You are asking the Alliance to send a fleet to Earth? No, Carter said. If they see alien ships coming, they'll start shooting. They'll claim an invasion. We need to be smarter than that. A map of the Sol system appeared on the hologram. Carter pointed at a relay station floating near Saturn. That station is the key. It links all Earth's command messages. If we take it quietly, we can shut down their control systems for a few hours. Just enough time to send the truth directly to the people of Earth. And if they fight back? One alien asked. They will, Carter said. The Council always fights to protect their secrets. But this time, we won't fight with bombs. We fight with truth. The judge turned to the rest of the court. The Alliance will not attack Earth, but we will send a small escort team, enough to protect the human, nothing more. Carter nodded. That's all I need. 3 days later, a small fast ship left the Alliance capital. Inside were Carter and 5 others, 2 alien technicians, a silent pilot, and 1 warrior from a race known for peace, but strong when needed. As they flew through space, Carter sat alone, staring out the window. Earth grew closer with every hour, his home, his past, the planet that had turned him into a monster, and now waited to hear the truth. One of the alien technicians sat beside him. She had soft purple skin and glowing eyes. Her voice was quiet. Are you afraid? Carter nodded. Yes, not for myself. I've been ready to die for a long time. But I'm afraid the people on Earth won't believe me. I'm afraid the Council will stop us before the truth gets out. The technician handed him a small data chip. This has the proof. All the files, all the lies. If we reach the relay station, the truth will speak for itself. Carter took the chip and held it tightly. Then we don't fail. As the ship neared Saturn, alarms began to beep. The pilot shouted, 2 Earth defense drones approaching. No warnings, they're locking on. Evasive maneuvers, Carter ordered. The ship twisted through the rings of Saturn. Ice and rock flew past them. The drones chased fast, firing lasers that burned the stars around them. We can't outrun them, the pilot cried. Carter stood up. I'll take the cannon. You just get us to the relay station. He ran to the back turret. He hadn't fired a weapon in months, but his hands still remembered. He locked on and fired once. 1 shot. Straight to the engine of the first drone. It exploded in silence. The second drone turned to escape, but the pilot boosted forward. The alien warrior beside him fired a stun pulse, shutting the drone down without killing it. The path was clear. Minutes later, they reached the relay station. Carter and the team moved quickly inside. The hallways were empty. Most of the crew had escaped during the fight. Only 2 guards remained. Carter raised his hands. We're not here to hurt you. Leave. Now. The guards looked at each other, then dropped their weapons and ran. Inside the control room, the alien technicians plugged in the data chip. Files began uploading. Carter stepped up to the main broadcast panel. A camera turned toward him. A red light blinked. Live. And then, his face appeared across Earth. Every screen, every city, every station, ship, school, and street. The war, criminal, the monster, the man they all hated, and he spoke. My name is Commander Rex Carter. I have been blamed for a war I didn't start. I followed orders I thought were right, but those orders came from men who wanted war for profit, not for peace. Behind him, images appeared. Files, video clips, secret messages. The lies of the Council, shown one by one. You have been used, tricked. But now you know. You have the right to ask questions. You have the right to know the truth. On Earth, millions watched in silence. Then the screen cut out. Carter turned. They've found us. They're shutting it down. Upload is complete, the technician said. The truth is out. It can't be erased now. Outside, Earth warships surrounded the station. This is Commander Voss of Earth Defense. Surrender immediately. Carter looked at his team. Then he looked at Earth, shining blue outside. The window. I surrender, he said. I've done what I came to do. As soldiers boarded the station, Carter raised his hands. No fight. No war. He smiled for the first time in years. Because this time, the war was not won with guns. It was won with truth. The screen faded to black. Part 6. The World Reacts. The screen lit up with the next chapter. Part 6. The World Reacts. Commander Rex Carter sat in a dark cell. It was small and cold, deep inside Earth's high-security prison. 2 guards stood outside his door. Cameras watched him every second. But he wasn't worried. He had done his job. Across Earth, people had seen his message. The truth was out now. The quiet council, the lies, the fake war, it was all public. No one could hide it anymore. In the beginning, most people didn't believe it. "He's a traitor," said one news anchor. "He's trying to blame others for his crimes." But then others began to speak. Soldiers, scientists, even some former officers. They confirmed Carter's story. One by one, they stood in front of cameras and told what they knew. "Carter told the truth," said Captain Miracho, a former war pilot. "I saw the same secret orders. I was told to fire on a ship that had no weapons. I worked with Dr. Lila Rowan," said a scientist from Earth Research Command. "She found the original alien message. It was peaceful. She disappeared the next week." Videos began to spread, reports, leaks, hidden files. All the lies that the council had buried were now rising like fire. People began to march in the streets, on Earth, on Mars, even on the moons of Jupiter. End the war. Truth for the fallen. Carter was right. Back in his cell, Carter watched the protests on a small screen. His hands were shaking, but his eyes were calm. He whispered, "They're waking up." But the council wasn't done yet. They sent agents to destroy the remaining files. They paid news channels to call it a trick. They claimed the proof was fake. Then, one of them made a mistake. A man named General Ryden, a powerful voice from the council, was caught trying to escape Earth. When his ship was stopped, the security found a full record of council meetings, real, unedited, and full of names. It was over. Every part of the council's plan was exposed. Every lie, every mission, every order. They were arrested within days. On Earth, the leaders of many countries gathered. They sent a message to the Galactic Alliance. "We apologize. What happened was wrong. We allowed a few to control many. We are ready to face the consequences." The Alliance replied, "We do not seek revenge, but justice must be done." And so, a new trial began. But this time, Rex Carter was not the one on trial. He was the witness. The court was now on neutral ground, a large station above Jupiter. The galaxy watched again, but now with different eyes. Carter walked into the court wearing a plain gray suit. No medals, no weapons, just a man who had survived hell. The judge, an alien from a planet of deep thinkers, looked down at him. "Commander Carter, you have been blamed, hated, and hunted, and yet you are still here. Why?" Carter answered simply, "Because I had to tell the truth." "Even when it nearly killed you?" He nodded. "Especially then." The judge paused. Then she said the words that would change everything. "We clear your name. You are not guilty of galactic war crimes. You were a victim of them." Carter said nothing. His face showed relief, but also sadness. So many had died. So much had been lost. After the trial, the crowds outside the station began to cheer. On hundreds of planets, people lit candles. In human cities, statues of fake war heroes were taken down. In their place, new names were added, not just Carter's, but also Lila Rowan, the survivors, the whistleblowers, the ones who dared to speak. Carter didn't return to Earth right away. He stayed in space, helping rebuild what the war had broken. He worked with both humans and aliens, building new trust. One day, a young alien girl approached him. She was the same one who had spoken in the courtroom before. She looked up at him with bright, clear eyes. "Are you still afraid?" she asked. Carter thought for a moment. Then he smiled. "Not anymore." She reached into her bag and gave him a flower. "My mother says flowers grow best in broken soil." Carter took the flower gently. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. The stars outside the window shined brighter than before. A final message appeared on the screen. Part 7. A new dawn begins. Rex Carter stood quietly at the edge of a large balcony. Below him stretched the new Galactic Peace Center, a place built where battles once happened. Now it was filled with people from across the stars, humans, aliens, leaders, scientists, and children. There were no weapons here, no warships, just voices, talking, listening, learning. It had been 1 year since the truth was revealed, 1 year since the council fell, 1 year since the war ended. Carter had become something he never planned to be: a symbol, not of power, but of honesty, of change, of what happens when one person refuses to stay silent. He didn't like fame. He never wanted statues, songs, or speeches. But he knew something important. If he stepped away too soon, others might forget. The piece was still new, still fragile, like glass. Behind him, a young human reporter walked up. She looked nervous but excited. "Commander Carter, can I ask just one question?" He smiled. "Drop the commander. I'm just Rex now." The reporter smiled back. "All right, Rex, what do you hope for the future?" Rex turned to the stars. They were bright tonight, clear, quiet. "I hope we learn to stop before we shoot. I hope we listen before we shout. And I hope we protect those who speak the truth, even when it's hard." The reporter nodded and turned off her recorder. "Thank you for everything." Later, Carter walked through the halls of the Peace Center. He passed classrooms where alien and human children learned side by side. He saw doctors sharing knowledge, engineers building new kinds of clean energy, artists painting scenes not of war, but of unity. He reached a room labeled History Memory Hall. Inside were images from the war, photos, videos, voices of the lost. But it didn't end with sadness. The final part of the hall showed Carter's trial. Lila Rowan's message, the protests, the peace talks. A single message was written across the final wall. Truth is the first step to peace. Carter stood. There for a while, a small alien child walked up beside him. She pointed at one of the photos. Carter, standing in the courtroom. "That was you?" "Yes," he said quietly. "You look taller in the picture," she giggled. Carter laughed for the first time in days. Pictures lie sometimes. The child looked up at him, serious now. "Will there be another war?" Carter knelt to her level. "Not if people like you keep asking good questions." She smiled, then ran back to her class. Later that night, Carter visited a garden on the roof. It was filled with flowers from every world that had joined the alliance. Some glowed, some hummed, some danced in the wind. It was peaceful. He pulled out a small item from his pocket, the same data chip that once held the truth. It was burned now, empty, but he still carried it, to remember. A voice came from behind him. "I knew I'd find you here." It was the alien warrior who had joined his mission to Earth. Tall, strong, with calm eyes. "You still think like a soldier," the warrior said. "Always watching the stars." "Old habits," Carter replied. "There's talk," the warrior said. "They want you to lead the new peace force, a team to stop war before it starts." Carter looked up. "That's not a job. That's a hope." "Yes," the warrior said, "but hope needs someone to carry it." Carter didn't answer right away. He looked again at the stars, not as places to conquer, but as homes waiting to be known. Finally, he said, "I'll think about it." The warrior nodded and walked away. Carter stayed behind, watching the stars. He thought of the past, the war, the lies, the silence, the pain. He thought of Lila, of the soldiers who died without knowing the truth. And he thought of the child in the history hall, full of questions and hope. The future was uncertain. Peace was never easy. But, for the first time in many years, Carter believed it was possible. As a soft wind passed through the garden, the flower from the child, given to him long ago, bloomed in his hand. And in that moment, under a sky full of stars, the galaxy truly began again, the end.